Guys, what's going on? Um, Today we're going to talk a little bit about bug prevention up in the boundary waters or wherever you're going to be canoe tripping. Um, going to focus on um, the three bad guys up there, the three main bad guys, and that's your mosquitoes, your black flies, and your ticks. Okay, um, so I'm just going to go through them, and I think everyone's probably familiar that when it comes to mosquitoes, there's a couple ways to prevent them. Obviously, mosquito spray, some kind of bug repellent. There's a lot of different products out there. I'm going to lean towards something that's a little bit more robust. So, like when you're in the woods up there, the joke obviously is that Minnesota State bird is the mosquito, right? They are serious up there. Okay, so the natural like the citronella or the lemongrass. Sprays that might be nice depending on where you're from. If you're sitting on the back patio or at a picnic and it's, a couple of mosquitoes are flying around, that can do the trick. But when you're up there, I would go with something that's a little bit more robust. So I've always brought in something that's like some kind of a deep woods. This does have deep, right? If you're not familiar, DEET's a pretty effective way to keep the mosquitoes at bay, but it's really not that great for you. Okay. And so I was just introduced, and I haven't had a chance to experiment with it myself. But there's a new product, and I guess you could say the active ingredient is what I want to talk about. It's called picaridin. Okay, Picaridin. And picaridin, I guess, is obtained from the black pepper plant, and it's supposed to not only repel, work in the same thing, right? It's a spray that you spray on your skin or your clothing. It's not only supposed to repel mosquitoes, but it also is effective at repelling black flies, ticks, and they listed a couple like no-see-ums, a couple other bugs out there. But on those three, I like, for example, DEET. DEET doesn't keep the black flies away. And same thing with the ticks. So, again, I can't speak from experience, but I will definitely be picking some of this up because people that I trust have said this picaridin, it's the real deal. And for the kicker, it's safe. You can give it to kids, right? It's not something that's created in a lab or something like that. So, very intrigued in that. And I don't have it with me here, but if you guys are sitting around camp, let's say you're cooking, something that's a real handy thing to use is called a thermacell. Okay, Thermacell, I think, thermacell. And what the thermacell is, it's a little device that it emits. I guess you could call it like a smoke, but it emits. It creates this safe barrier. So let's say I'm sitting here at camp and I'm the chef for the night. So I'm cooking and I can't really move, right? I have to cook the food, I'm prepping this stuff, or I'm cooking over the fire or whatever. So I can't, I got to focus on what I'm doing. I can set the thermocell over here. Again, it can't be too windy because the wind will carry it off. But let's say it's like low wind. That's going to kind of create a protective area around the thermocell, and the mosquitoes. It keeps them away. It's kind of like a force field. So I'd never used that until a couple of years back, and that is real slick. When it's not windy, and when you're sitting there cooking or doing some kind of task, cleaning fish, and you're like you're swatting them and stuff like that. Thermocells, that's worth its weight in gold. Depending on the time of year, and I put a link down below with a kind of a calendar that it'll take you to a website that has a real simple table or graph of when the different bugs, black flies and mosquitoes, really hit the hardest. So what that season is, and especially if you're going to be tripping during those seasons, I bring this regardless, but this is going to be probably one of your most used pieces of equipment if you go during those seasons. And this is real convenient. It weighs about nothing. I've had this, it's an outdoor research one. I've had this about 20 years. It did, I guess you could call it splurge. I think this might have cost 20, $30 total. And got the one with the ring, because if this is pressed against your skin, it's really not, the bugs are going to bite you right through it. So you're not really gaining anything if you don't get it away from your skin. So, you can flip it up, take it off if you need to read or drink something or eat something, and flip it back down. So works like that. And then, it can also, I can kind of cinch it, if that makes sense. And then when I'm all done with it, just kind of folds in on itself, and I can stuff it right in my, my PFD, my life jacket pocket, or my back pocket, or something like that. Okay. Yeah, if you're going out, you're at camp and you need to walk in the woods, you're harvesting wood. Couple things: always have a hat on. Okay. Ticks are going to be jumping on you. I mean, they just are, right? But they need somewhere to go, and the hair is pretty much their favorite spot. So wherever, your armpit, you want to do your hair check your areas where you've got the hair and stuff, and you want to be doing that, as much as you can. And if you have somebody who does not mind inspecting your hair for you, that's a really important thing to make sure you don't have ticks, and especially ones that sit there for too long. Okay. When you're out harvesting the wood, in addition to the hat, if you've got some long sleeves that, they're not too heavy, right? You're not sweating too much. Like, long sleeves are another great way to keep the bugs from biting you, keep the ticks from whatever getting to your skin. So long sleeves, long pants, and higher socks. That's a great way to keep the ticks out of your legs and such. Okay. Okay, went over that. Yeah, I mean, you guys, some of these bugs, they can carry diseases. In my 20s, when I was invincible, I wouldn't have had a lot of time for this, but now I've gotten a little bit older, and it's, I've seen people that have contracted some of these diseases you hear about that mosquitoes carry. Super rare, very rare. But when you talk about risk reward, at the end of the day, do you want to have a bunch of mosquitoes biting you? I don't. So do what you can to try and protect yourself against just being uncomfortable, right? Ticks, the biggest risk there is Lyme disease. And I can say I know a few guys that have had Lyme disease. Luckily, they caught it and they were able to, take the however long that series of antibiotics is, and they should be all right. But Lyme disease, different people have different reactions: short-term, mid-term, long-term. Depending on when they got bit, how soon they knew it had happened, and then how quickly they started the treatment. So yeah, be real nice to avoid that. But guys, that's about let's see here. Yeah, I guess the last thing I would say, and it's not really a bug. I guess you would call it an insect, right? Would be a leech, right? Yeah, that's an insect. And yeah, when it comes to leeches, the ones up there, yeah, I can demonstrate it when we go on a trip. I'll probably get a leech on me, and if you can pull it off, pull it off. If you can take a knife and just kind of shear it off, like you were almost like shave it off with the knife, if you will. Yeah, they, that's just kind of gross. I don't think leeches, as far as I know, I don't think you shouldn't get any nasty stuff from them, but nobody really wants leeches on them. So we'll leave it at that, and hope you guys have a good one. All right. I hope that helps. Talk to you later.